Hello, everybody. How's
Are
everybody
we
doing?
live?
I'm gonna go. Do you know what? First of all, I would like to say hello, everybody. I've been back. I've been gone for a while. It's me. It's Dan. I'm back. I'm back with a bang. You'll regret it. You wish I was off again. And and I just want to say, I've missed you all, and it's great to be back. Now I want to go round the circuit, round the table. How's everybody doing this week? Eric, how's your week been? Are you good?
Oh, and I've been good, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Life treating you well?
Yeah.
Good, good, good. What about you, young Lo? How are you doing?
Happy to see you, handsome.
Oh,
Oh, I
it's
was
lovely.
offer depressed because I haven't seen you. Because
It's like a
nobody gave me teak.
It's like a respite, isn't it, when I'm not here? Have you had a good week, Lo?
Right. Yeah, I've had a good week, honey. So yeah, so just getting on with it.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. How about you, young Vivian? Have you had a good week?
I've had a very busy week since I got back from Transylvania.
Oh, indeed, you got back from Transylvania.
So it's been quite a busy time, both on the networks, Lois knows, and just in general, just been really busy. It's gone mad at work. I don't know what's wrong with people today. But can I just say something before we go any further? Can I just put out some thoughts to the people that went missing on the submarine?
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely.
An English guy. Well, all of the families. I know a father
horrible.
and son gone, and I just wanted to sort of put some thoughts out to them. I've heard some people laughing because they're rich people that have paid 200. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These people belong to a family, and I just think it needs to be sort of said that there's somebody's son, there's somebody's father.
No.
Even the people that were piloting the submarine, whatever's happened to it, whatever the accident is, nobody deserves to go like that. And I just put some thoughts out to them.
No.
Crossing over right now, and even the families involved, they must be absolutely heartbroken. So
what's the story? Do you know what's happened? I mean, I've been like an hour ago. They said they were still looking.
They went down. They paid tickets. They paid £250,000 a ticket to go down.
Have they found them though?
No, well, they think it might have imploded because you're down. So they're saying that the oxygen, they've got enough for 3 days, but when you think about how far down that they've gone, there are some flaws. They've already spoken to some people that go and sweep the ocean beds as there's some things that are not quite right. But anyway, regardless, I just hope that they can bring the bodies back to the surface so the families have something to say goodbye to, and it's the families that my heart goes out to, not even the people on board so much, the families. I just wanted to put that out there, get the horrible bit done first.
I know it's against the odds, but hopefully, please God, they might find them alive, just that tiny little bit of hope. But yeah, if they did whatever way, it's awful. Whether they've got money or not, I totally agree. It makes no difference. They're still humans. They're still someone's family. Still someone's sons, daughters, whatever, mums, dads, whatever, And, they need to be thought about like that. And I hope, bless them.
And a few have had to pass on because it's the crew's job to get whoever did whatever, paid for it, job to get them into the safest place of the submarine to begin with. So.
140, is it 140 feet down or something? It's quite deep. They're not getting out.
Deep,
They're even saying that they think that they've got stuck in one when they've obviously been exploring the Titanic. They think they've got stuck somewhere where they've not been able to get back out of.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. It's awful.
That's the horrible bit done. But Dan, how have you been?
I'm all right now. Well, I say I'm all right now. I'm getting there. I've still got pain in my back and stuff. I'm getting there. So that's all good. But you lot don't want to hear about me. You lot want to hear about the topic of this week.
Well, before we do, we got some hellos first, Dan.
Yeah, we have. Who have we got? We got Sarah. Hello there, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah Louise.
Hey,
William.
Hi, William. How you doing, William?
Hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Nettie's in the house.
Hey, in the house. We've got Sarah again. Well said, Viv. There you go. I agree with that. As said, perfect. I'll find them in the chat. Yeah, please, God, they will. Yeah. Yeah, it's awful, Net. It's awful, Net. It's absolutely awful. Hello again, young Rita. I hope you're doing well.
Sis.
Right. So, yes, we're talking about horror movies this week.
And,
So,
it's not like you can't just talk to her right here.
I know.
Should we sing to her? Rita's in the house. Rita's in the house. Rita, 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 Rita's in the house. Whoop, whoop. Sorry.
Rita in the house, yeah. Right, there you go. So, right, Viv, your favourite horror movie. What is it? I think I might know.
Well, I have got a few. But my favourites that I have... Let me go and get the book. Hang on 1 second. Talk to one of the others first.
Right, okay, I'm going to
Come
do...
back to me.
You know what? Ladies first, Eric.
I'll take that one. I'm more manly than you, Dan, so I might as well scale back.
Right, Eric, how are you, bud? What's your favourite all-time horror movie?
My favorite of all time, because it adds comedy and horror, would have to be Freddy versus Jason.
Yes, I must admit, that's a good one. That's a good choice. And what about you, young Lo? What's your favourite?
Well, I've got one or two. The first one being the Dan Winter collection. Oh, you've got to see that.
That's beyond horror.
That was up there with Stephen King. I'm sure it was Stephen King that wrote it himself.
Stephen King watched it once and says too much for me, he said.
Or was that fucking misery? I get it too mixed up all the time. No, my favourite one would have to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's always been my favourite because I think that was my very first one that I seen.
I saw that years ago. It was they used to call them, Eric, you'll remember this, you're of a similar age. They used to call them video nasties back in the day.
Yep.
And it was totally uncut. And I saw the uncut version. And I was only about 10 or whatever, 11 maybe. And it haunted me. But it was such an amazing film.
Yeah. I mean, they've made other ones, right? And the only ones I would have to say that I really like is the original one, the 2003 one, The Beginning, and the one that they made in 2022. And that was actually, I thought it looks quite pish when I looked at it on Netflix. I said, but I thought I'd give it a wee watch. And I watched it and it was actually really, really good. I was quite surprised actually. But I'm more moving away from the genre horrors and more watching like B movies, not really movies that are known in found footage kind of movies. That's more where I'm drifting down that.
What,
the
like
genre.
Blair Witch Project type thing, that type of thing, is it?
Aye, kind of like that. I mean, there's been a good few fair found footage ones that I've watched in Prime that have been really actually dead good. But then I've got into, I don't know about you guys, right? But I've got into, see when I'm watching things like Grave Encounters or something like, what's another good one that I can't mind the name of it, but I can see it in my head. And it's basically we're paranormal investigators. It's like one of the kind of found footage ones. I sit there and debunk it in my head and I think, oh, you're doing that orang and you're doing that orang. See when you're sitting down at the telly. Aye, see when you're sitting down at the telly, it becomes sad times.
I like a film called Dave's Big Dick and Debbie Loves It. Oh no, hang on, that's not the horror. I'm back. No, I don't know. I mean, I like the old Universal stuff. I like this stuff from the sort of 30s and 40s when I was growing up watching it as a kid. When they used to do the double movie horror bill on a Saturday night, and I always used to watch it. So I like that stuff. Lon Chaney, Boris Karloff, you know, all of that type of stuff.
What are we looking at?
I know. That was a horror in itself. And, but yeah, no, there's some good stuff. But the modern ones, a film I did like. There was a Japanese film I liked. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a horror about a guy who was a murderer and he was haunted by the ghost. Sorry, Eric?
Was it Train to Bushido?
I don't know. Is it the one where he was carried a load of weight and he couldn't work out what the weight was?
I don't know.
And then they videoed him in his cell and he had the murder victim hanging on his back.
I think so.
Really good. And there's another one called, which I think it was a It was a European film, a Swedish or something, and originally called "Let the Wrong One In." I think it was.
Yeah.
But it was about a girl who was a vampire, a little young girl,
Mhm.
and this boy would meet her by the playground, and she built up a friendship with him. It was a really good film. But there's loads out there to pick from. But I think they're probably the Universal stuff. I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Who else have we got in there, Viv? Oh, one of my. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh,
I'm sorry
so
about that,
sorry,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Hey,
Hi,
Viv,
Paul.
Paul.
Hi,
Oh, poor
Paul.
Kelly.
Hi, Paul. Oh, it was Mary's birthday yesterday. Should we sing a happy birthday?
Yeah, Mary, how are you?
After 3. 1,
What?
2,
Guys do.
3.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
you.
Mary.
Wash the
Toast
butter
and stew.
bread
Happy,
and butter in the gutter.
happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Oh, lovely
Mary.
You see, I began to sing, and then you went off into another tangent, and I'm like, "Fuck, try to sing along to that."
Keep going. Just keep going. I hope you like that.
Hey,
Mary.
Robert.
Robert.
Hiya, Robert. How you doing? Well, bud.
Oh,
that was a good
brilliant
film, Gone
movie.
Till Dusk.
Brilliant
Good film.
movie.
Tarantino films are generally pretty good, aren't they?
Oh, I love
I think it's
Tarantino.
even
He's
funnier
great
when
director.
David Oman has a go at him.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Still my favourite is Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte. Oh, Betty Davis, now you're talking. What an amazing actress.
Yeah. Hi, Dan. William, by the way.
Thank you. I am, Rita. I'm sorry. You know me by now. You know me well.
Scream, I could never ever get into Scream.
Scream's a good movie. Oh, I was expecting
not for Rascals.
Oh, some of them low
Netflix.
budget stuff are pretty
Yeah.
good because they make them more atmospheric because they don't have the budget for, you know, especially effects and stuff.
Well,
Amityville.
The 1940s.
I don't think I know that film, Carl.
House on Haunted Hill.
Carl, I need to speak to you privately. I need to get you to speak to your godfather. I need to get him to make something for me, if possible.
Oh yeah, sure.
Private commission.
I couldn't
How
get.
you doing? Well, Carl.
I couldn't get into the House of Haunted till I did watch it recently on Prime because I wanted. I don't know if I've watched.
Hi, Deborah.
I don't know if it's the fact that I've maybe watched too many horrors and then went to the House on Haunted Hill, but I just didn't find it. I found it shit. I just
You're the
didn't.
only one it does, Laura.
Hey, Laura. Hey, God.
Somebody's got to love her, haven't they?
No,
Somebody's gotta love
no,
her.
no, you, Laura. I'm just pointing it up towards Dan. Love you too. But I've never ever. I watched it and I just couldn't get into it. Don't get me wrong, I watched it to the very end.
I'm talking about the original.
That was the one, Carl. It was
with,
fantastic.
Hi, Paul.
Hiya,
That
Paul. How you
was the
doing, bud?
original. I watched the black and white
Purge
one,
is a
Eric.
good film.
Carrie's
Yeah.
a brilliant movie.
Do you know the one that used to terrify me as a kid? And I did watch it. I couldn't take me. I just keep watching. Even when I was young, I used to watch it. And it was Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Do you know I've never watched that?
That was so well acted. And the actors, I mean, a lot of them are gone now, but they were like your proper old classic. Proper
Jaws. Hey, Claire.
Hi, Claire. Hope you're doing well. Oh, sorry, mate. I've been off. I've been off with really bad back. I'll speak to you soon. I'll catch up with you, mate.
Oh wow.
Oh, well done.
Wow.
Excellent stuff.
Congratulations.
Jaws, I'm still.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Do you know what, Robert? That had that impact on a lot of people. A couple of friends of mine wouldn't go into the sea when we used to go on holiday because they were worried about the Jaws thing. And I said, I don't know if you're going to get them off Clacton.
So, do you want to know my favourite horrors of all time?
Go.
I have 3. And the first one I'm going to tell you is it's one of Clive Barker's.
Another great. Yeah, great.
And his original story, I have the book, not the original book, but the
book,
the original book is 8 pages long. And the story is written about a dream, basically. And that story is called The Hellbound Heart, which we know today when the film came out, Hellraiser.
Mhm.
The reason I like this, the reason I
knew that
like,
was.
the reason I like that so much is I suffered with nightmares very badly. I saw it on the big screen and I was made to sit and watch it, and I had nightmares for a long, long time after that. And to get over the problem with the nightmares, I met one of the actors who had one of the leading parts in the movie, told him about that, and he thought it was highly amusing. Spent some time together. He was great. So for that reason, Hellraiser, the Hellbound Heart book, I do have it. It's very thin. It's not as long as you would imagine it to be. But Clive Barker, for me, is one of the great horror movie writers, if you like. My second most favourite film, again, is Claire, It Was Pinhead. The second favourite horror of all time and very, very cleverly made was the story of The Exorcist.
Yes.
And
Oh, love it.
the reason I say it's so cleverly made, that bearing in mind when it was made, they didn't have the tricks and the technique, all the special effects that you have today. That movie, not only did it have things that happened on set with some of the actors and the people behind the cameras happening to them, they said it was cursed, but people were being sick, were terrified, and were running out of the cinema. And for that, I think that deserves to be up there. For me personally, as a trans medium, when you do trans mediumship, it is a form of possession. People do not understand, and those mediums who claim to be trans mediums have to be very, very careful. You can't just go and do it willy-nilly or anything like that. So to me, when watching The Exorcist back then and still today, how that girl is possessed, what happens, and if you see the second one, which is the boring one, she has no recollection of what actually happened. So and it also brings to the forefront, it doesn't matter who you are, a man of the cloth, a little girl, somebody, just a normal person walking in the street. If something can do it, it will do it. It doesn't matter who you are, big, little, small, fat, thin, powerful, not powerful, somebody in power, diplomat, somebody in the government, priest. It can happen to anyone. So for that reason, and it always brings me down to earth when I think of The Exorcist, it brings me back down to earth with a bump. Be very careful, Vivian, because you don't know what you're dealing with. So that was my all-time, one of my all-time favorites. And going back to what Dan says,
Hi, Jeremy.
one of my
Hey,
favorite
Jeremy.
actors. Hi, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
One of my favorite actors of all time, Boris Karloff, a very, very clever man, an Englishman.
Went to master at the same school as me.
Yeah, and he had a lisp, and he didn't always just do horrors. He did other acting roles as well. A very, very underestimated man of his time, Boris Karloff. So anything Universal, some of the old ones that are very simply made, but just get your mind going, I think are really, really good. I'm just going to add one more in just quick. I watched White Zombie.
Oh,
White Zombies are black and white. I think it's 1930s it was made.
yeah. It's really quite an early one.
There's no talking in it at all. It's it's a silent movie. I watched it. I do not understand it. I've watched it a few times since. I still don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. But if you want one to baffle your mind,
It's a classic, though, isn't it?
recommend White Zombie. So that's
Do you know-
not good.
Do you know what I love as well? And it's kind of, I know a lot of these stuff, they make it into films and stuff now. And kind of some of the stuff they've made pales in significance. But when you read his writings, he's one of my all-time favourite writers. And I absolutely adore him, is Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
Just amazing stuff. A phenomenal writer, genius of a man. And and when they try and put his stuff on the screen, and sometimes it's a hit, but a lot of times they just don't get it right because the writing itself is just the art in it. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
I came across some
But-
of my old pictures of the old ones, like Boris Karloff, and I've got a picture of Lon Chaney, and it's signed. Well, not the signature, but it's
Oh, Lon
signed.
Chaney, yeah, amazing, yeah.
They mentioned Oliver Reed.
So Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Boris Karloff, Oliver Reed, it's Cole saying, etc. Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't get it. It wasn't.
That's the problem. They don't make movies as good as they used to. Like, don't get me wrong. There's actually a couple that I've seen, but
It's alive. It's alive.
but like anything like horrors wise, like that's coming out that I'm turning my nose up at. I'm kind of like, no, it doesn't
Oh,
look
they're
any
rubbish.
good.
They're rubbish. That's the thing with a lot of horror now. It's just gratuitous violence, isn't it? It's just like come on.
Yeah.
Let's get back to something with a little bit of substance to it, a story. Let's not just have people sewing people's mouths to other people's asses. It's boring.
They're doing remakes, and I'm quite interested because I love his music. Oh God, what's his name? I was listening to him earlier today. I love his music. Love watching his horror films. You know, the House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. He's remade The Munsters.
Yes.
And
Oh
people
God!
saying
Oh,
there's very mixed reviews with it, because they were saying, some people are saying it's shit, some people are saying it's really good, some people are sitting on the fence. Rob Zombie, that's it. Thanks, Carl.
Rob Zombie, yeah.
But I love Rob Zombie because I just think he's one of these people that's.
He was the House of a Thousand
brilliant.
Corpses, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
with Sherry Moon. Yeah.
That's it.
He also remade that weird movie about the people living in the South that were deformed because of inbreeding.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Hills of Eyes. The
Oh,
Hills of Eyes.
that was.
Great
I
film.
refuse to watch that. I think it's a horrible. The same as Human Centipede. I hate the Human Centipede. I do.
I love
That
that.
film. Oh no!
Just
Oh no!
just
Not in a
gratuitous
million years.
crap to me. It's just
No.
crap. Do you know what horror films like the ones we're talking about?
Oh,
They don't frighten me, but I can't watch, and I'm probably a coward. I don't know. The
Oh,
one thing
Dan,
I'm terrified of. What's that, Viv?
read what Carl said about that remake.
Okay.
oh.
Yeah. I see. I'm still original Monsters for me all the way. It's got to be the original Monsters. It's the same with the Addams Family. I
I
like
love
the original
that.
Addams Family. That's good. The stuff.
Yes,
Hi,
Lucy,
Lou.
I will definitely ring you. I will definitely ring you.
We need to chat.
Ring me when you finish work or whatever. I don't care what time it is. Just ring me. I'm knackered all the time anyway.
Yeah, the Monsters. I love the Monsters. Love
I
the Monsters.
do.
The original one, Monsters, and the original Addams Family.
Yeah.
I like the Wednesday stuff and that, but it's
Guess what I saw when I was in Romania? I saw
that's good. That's good. The Shining, Robert. It's brilliant.
I saw Nevermore Academy when I was over there.
You did, didn't you?
I did, yes.
X-Files is good, Sarah Louise.
That's why my son's called Fox.
Oh, is it?
Hey, I just thought you liked foxes.
I love foxes as well, but I named him after Box Mulder.
Yeah.
What's the boss saying? The boss is saying. Oh, I love it.
Sure. Again, Claire, the books are always best, aren't they? You can't be. It's like another film you made, which I loved, which was because I like
the Human Centipede.
Classic America in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And he did the Christine, didn't he? Which was the car from that era.
Really
It was
good.
a Buick, wasn't it? And
Mhm.
the kid was obsessed with it, and he started dressing like somebody in the 50s, and it was great. It was great. It was like a what do they call it? Like a James Dean type character. Brilliant film. Brilliant film. Female voice.
Want me? I promise you. Want me?
Oh, was that what it was? 58 Plymouth Fury. Brilliant. Stunning car.
Do you know what
Yeah,
else
they're
was
good,
a good
Sarah.
movie?
They're really
Do you know
good.
what else is a good movie? And people always forget about this, but Andy's lookalike, when I first met him with his long hair, was in that movie. And it was The People Under the Stairs.
Oh God, the original one.
I've never seen that.
That
The people under
terrified
the
me. That
stairs.
terrified me as a kid. Terrified the crap out of me as a kid.
But now it's not really scary. But
No,
back then,
no. It's comical now because you're whispering, don't you? Like that. As a kid, it's terrifying, and now it's like, oh, that's really cute.
you know what? If Lois was in her house and she had, she'd be like, "Quick, go and get the K2. Get it to me now. Let's see what is going on."
That's that. Yeah, that's how you're just like, yeah. Tell you, I'm getting bad for it. I really need to stop watching these found footages because Stephen looked at me sometimes when I go, oh, that's just made up. That's just fucking fake. That is. And they'll turn around and look at me and I'm going, I can't help it. It's an investigator in me.
Yeah.
Oh, that
No,
makes
but
sense.
what I really want to see that's coming out is
That's
it's
probably why
Russell
we set up,
Crowe's
Jeremy.
film. Is it the Pope's Exodus?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I've heard it wasn't.
yeah.
I've heard it wasn't that good.
I really, really would love. I've seen, the trailer, and I'm like, I would really, because I actually like Russell Crowe in a weird way.
Love Russell Crowe.
Some of his
quite
movies.
fat now, Russell Crowe.
He's what?
He's quite fat now.
Yeah.
Getting on now, isn't he?
Lockdown got him, I think.
Getting on a bit, isn't he? Getting on a bit.
He still looks good for
He's
his age, but
70, isn't he?
Is what? Sorry.
no, he can't be that old.
Is he not?
No, I would say he was ages with you, Dan. And that's not me being sarcastic. That is me being.
What, you mean he's 32?
Yes, yeah.
Dan, we've got Kerry Greenaway in the house. You're going to sing to her.
Hey, Kerry.
Hello, Kerry. How are you? Oh, it's been a long time no see, no speak.
Sing
Hope
to
you're doing
Kerry.
well.
Hi, Crystal Lady. We love you.
Crystal Lady.
She's the lady.
Crystal Lady. She's the lady. Got me crazy.
Especially for you, Kerry.
Not that you want it.
No, but she loves it anyway.
No, I would say Russell.
Yeah.
No, I would say he's in his 50s.
He's got a big bottle. What are you
82.
drinking? Is it
Russell Crowe? No
Mountain Dew
way.
Red?
82.
What's that?
Mountain Dew. Cold
No,
red.
not really. He's
I didn't-
59.
I was going to say, don't talk pish.
Pish. Dan, you're talking pish.
I'm talking pish. Hey, I'm really pish. Yeah, you wee ginger bastards.
Do you know, I just had a vision with you with a tan bonnet on with ginger hair saying that.
Oh my God. Oh, I miss this bunch.
That's good. That's
Yes.
good. Always make time for us. It's the best way to
Yeah.
relax. You know that, Kerry, or not? As the way case may be.
Love Mountain Dew. We don't have Red Mountain Dew over here. Is it a bit like Scotland's
Iron Brew?
Iron Brew? No, Iron Brew has more of a bite to it.
Yeah, we don't get we got the green Mountain Dew, haven't we? We don't get the red stuff, do we?
Oh, really?
No.
Nice, man. I like Mountain Dew. It's nice.
What do you guys think of you?
I haven't seen
Not
it yet.
seen it, Carl. Not seen it.
Carl, I
No,
have
see
got
that.
all of the Hellraiser films. I've even got them signed. But after Hellraiser 8 came out, I stopped. And the new guy that plays Pinhead is not as good. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
The original guy's lovely, isn't he? The original guy played
Oh,
Pinhead.
such a nice man. And you might see him at some horror conventions and stuff because he does go to a lot of them.
I saw him. He lives in America now, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
I saw him. He was being interviewed, and it was some ghost program actually. And he's such unassuming, pleasant, lovely man. And I thought, what an absolute gentleman, really was.
Can I just say, I think he fancied me because he kept cuddling me.
Oh, there you go. Then.
I'm going to have to tell Naked Man because he'll get jealous that you're replacing him with Hellraiser guy.
Yeah.
Right, here's a question for you guys and everybody in the chat. But what do you think movie makers now taking like children's stories and creating them into horrors.
Oh, you're talking about Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
Well-
but they've done another one. They've done another one, another
I think-
story, but I can't remember for the life of me what one.
What are they like, old fairy tales and stuff, or is it? Because I mean, the fairy tales were originally horrors. They've actually, the ones that we've got today are much watered down from what they were, because they were moral. They were moral codes. They were the directions that people literally like, do not do this. Like the one I used to always talk about with wolves is the Red Riding Hood. And the thing about Red Riding Hood is, in the 17th century, it used to be a way that the tale came about because it was a way of saying to women, be careful of young men, because they're not always what they seem.
Yep.
And that was what it was. If you get into the woods, don't be
Did they
alone.
write a story about you?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've not the Winnie the Pooh one. I think comical, really.
Naked Man, you just be over there and keep quiet.
Hey, good lad.
But no, I just think it's I don't know. They're just, why are you inventing the wheel? Why are you like they're doing it with, even as you guys say, it's not just horror movies. They're doing it with other movies. Like they're bringing out really good movies and slaughtering the hell
The
out.
Brothers Grimm did that way back when with Rumpelstiltskin, because Rumpelstiltskin wasn't really a children's fairy tale. It was written to scare people. Rumpelstiltskin.
It was all moral guidance, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
terrifying stuff. The old fairy tales
There's
are
an actual movie
terrifying.
called The Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the witch putting the kids in, trying to get the kids in the oven to cook them or eat them, and then they pushed her in and they killed her, and yet they were eating the sweets while she was burning.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, it's a way of keeping the kids under control, isn't it? You know, by the
But you can't do that now.
Well, I want to bring up an American Werewolf in London, because it hasn't been mentioned, and I want to talk about the
They're not trying to
original
remake
film.
it, are they?
I think they already have, haven't they?
Oh,
But anyway, the original film, when they filmed it over here, they filmed it in parts of the underground. That is haunted. They filmed it in an old pub. That is haunted. They chose these old locations, not realising, there were good locations for the film, absolutely bloody brilliant. But some of the locations that they were filming in were actually haunted, that a lot of ghost hunters don't know about or realise. Yeah, Sarah's just said the pubs in Wales. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, a lot of it was filmed
fantastic.
in Wales, Cornwall and Wales, wasn't it? Yeah.
But it is an iconic film, The American Werewolf in London, and I say that is because of the way the man changes into the wolf.
Yeah.
Again, ahead of its time for the makeup, the way they did it. They didn't have all this crazy, what do they call it?
CGI.
CGI.
And all that. So they didn't have any of that in those days.
No, it was makeup.
It was actually makeup and pure acting. And again, this is another horror film that I think needs to be mentioned because of the way it was made. Absolutely bloody fantastic, if I say that so myself. So full credit to the producers and the makers of that particular film. But there are horror films that had come out and other films where if you looked closely in the background, they actually catch something on camera.
Yep.
And if you were not a trained eye, you wouldn't notice. But us ghost hunters should be noticing these other things that they're catching in the background. They're not supposed to be there. Can you think of any movies that had that? Like,
I can't remember what it was, but I know it was not a recent one, but it was back in 2000 that they were talking about that. And the guy, when they were doing the film, they caught a guy in the background with a film camera. I'm like, look at that. What the heck? He's not supposed to.
There was one back in the early days of the video, what they call them, like the film video, music videos. And it was probably back in the 80s, 90s, maybe. I don't know, very early on. And they were filming this group, a British group. They decided to go, one of the guys in the chat might remember it, or one of you might remember it. They decided to go somewhere like Lindisfarne or somewhere. And they did this shoot in this old derelict, basically castle building, what have you. Yeah. And they didn't even notice, but there was somebody standing right behind them looking at them. They said no, but there was nobody there. Nobody. We know that there was we couldn't see him with the naked eye, and we didn't even see him. They just appeared on film. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that was one, yeah. And then you got the one with the what you call it, haven't you? You got the I don't know. It's probably more of a wives' tale than anything. But you got the one with the Beatles when they're singing about strawberry fields, and then they had a whisper at the end of it, which is meant to be a spirit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I heard that. I've also noticed. Do you remember that big classical blockbuster film Spartacus? Do you remember that film?
Did
yeah.
yeah.
So there's a part of Spartacus where they're filming this scene, and I think they've dubbed it out. But if you have the original, or you can see the original film from start to finish, uncut, there's a car that drives across. There's a car that drives across the top of the sand dunes. You see it just go past really quick. Cars weren't made during that time of the, where they were filming. It's so out of sequence, but there's a car that goes past.
Oh, well.
I loved it. I love that.
So have
But
you guys heard of the one with it's going away from horror films a little bit now, but I mean,
Yeah, I know.
there's this one. No, where I'm taking it, it will be. So I'm sorry, excuse me. Have you seen the one on the internet at the moment doing the round?
Rabbit
And
hole.
the guy who's driving along, somewhere in America, they're driving along and there's a mountain range, and then they see this giant on the mountain range.
Yeah, I saw that just recently.
Just
No,
recently.
I'm looking at.
It's really compelling. And they said, no, it's not a fake. It's not been doctored. People have looked at the film and they said, we don't know. But it was there one day and then gone the next. And it was sort of sitting down and then it sort of stood up and it was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
No, this thing
Oh,
was
wow.
giant, Viv.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
About 80, 90 foot high. It was massive. And it was like, what? Because the guy, obviously, he's driving along, but you can tell, can't you, through depth perception. Well, hang on, that thing shouldn't be that size on the size of a mountain. It must be massive. And they got a video of it. It's amazing. Yeah, The Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
That's a good film.
Spartacus, yeah.
Oh, I've not seen that one. Not seen that one.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Scott.
I know that Blair Witch, that whole movie was not, the original wasn't that good, but that idea is excellent. Like the first person view, somebody should do that over there. That'd be awesome to do in like a haunted location.
That one that's it would. That one that Sarah's on about with the gladiator, the scene where the plane flies over, it ties in with the time period because it was Pontius Pilate.
Oh my God. One of my friends is an extra in Braveheart. It's so funny.
It's a white van.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. I've never seen it. It's a good film. Good film.
He gave me a few little. He was telling me what was happening behind the scenes when he made Braveheart, and it was the thing where, you had all the spikes, and you had them sitting there waiting, and the horses came straight at you. He said there was no stuntmen or anything. There was people on horses, and they were riding straight for you. He said,
that.
"Yeah," he said he got paid handsomely for doing it, but he said you needed balls of steel to be an extra in that film.
I wouldn't be doing that.
I can imagine.
I wouldn't be doing that. I'm too cowardly to do that.
I wouldn't mind being an extra. I always fancied myself an extra in EastEnders, just shopping in the market.
Uh-oh.
I could be an extra in the market with Lois.
There you go.
Be good. Be good.
What's that one? There's what was the film that was playing when you visited? Oh, there you go, Viv.
What? Oh,
Was it
Night of the Living Dead? Was it? No.
Something like that, wasn't it?
I know Paul would know it. I can't remember.
Yeah, Paul would know, wouldn't he?
It was a sci-fi film, wasn't it? That was playing. I can't remember. But he kept switching channels, whoever it was.
Oh, really?
The Devil Rides Out. Yes.
The old Hammer films were cool.
Hammer films. They're pretty cool, some of them.
Some of them were so cheesy, but they were good.
Yeah.
Hi, Ross.
Hello.
Hi,
South
Ross.
Africa, and now living in the UK.
Buddy.
Doing a South African voice so he feels at home.
Very welcome, Ross. I'm glad that you were here, my friend.
There you go.
Is that even South
Ross, I will
African?
give you a warning. We've got another South African woman that comes on. She's fucking mental. Nice girl when she comes on. Just go, oh yeah, that's nice. But no, in the back, it's fucking lunatic. No, she's lovely. We love her, Ross. We love her.
Oh, definitely, Ross.
Oh, good.
Texas
Good
Chainsaw,
choice.
yeah. And Halloween, definitely. I've
choice,
yet to
Ross.
see actually the last Halloween Kills. I've seen every other one of them except Halloween. Dan, you're really shit.
There's nothing wrong with my South African accent, Carl. You cheeky northerner.
Do you know what? You kind of
See?
sounded
Thanks,
like him from Hostel, but I can't think that's a cracking film and all. Hostel.
Yeah, it is.
Does
it scare you though, Lo? Because if you've got enough money, you could go out and kill someone and get away with it. And torture them.
Isn't it? That's frightening, isn't it?
I mean, see when I watch things
that's my
like
normal accent, my Ray Winston accent. That's my normal accent.
When I watch films like Hostel,
I'm the fucking daddy. Sorry.
Well, only go ahead. When I kind of watch Dan, you're putting me off because it's like you've got to say something and then you just go.
No, I was getting something stuck in my tooth.
You're an asshole.
I know.
When I do watch things like Hostel, you're doing it.
Should we just mute it, Dan?
All right, I'll go.
Yeah, please mute him. See, it's when he does that face, he knows I love that one. When I do watch things like Hostel and things like that, it does kind of put me off. Like going like, I am not watching you, Winters.
Eric's doing it now. Eric started it.
Eric looks like a crazy madman there.
Crazy madman.
Crazy.
Crazy.
But yeah, it does kind of put you off being in wee countries like that because you think, can that possibly be happening?
I reckon it could though, Lo. I reckon it could. If you had enough money, you could do anything you wanted to, including something.
Was it not like? I'm sure it was like it was 25. Was it $1,000 or something for killing Americans in Hostel or something? It's like when he gets to the bit and he looks at like how much the prices are.
Yeah, well, if it was an English person, it'd be so much more because
I'll tell you what,
we're so refined.
Surprise me if someone.
I would definitely take Dan Winters and fucking drop him off.
You
You don't need all that money.
See what? 10 minutes with me and they turn the guns on themselves.
I heard that somebody know that cave in Scotland where a couple lived and would rob people and kill them.
That sounds familiar.
That sounds like a lot of people in Scotland.
That sounds like you've just described a flat.
They were homeless.
I'm only joking.
For their money. They're thinking about making that into a movie now.
There was a couple that lived in. Yeah. I remember that. Yes, that rings a bell.
You better not be thinking Stephen and Lois.
No.
We could make a horror movie and we could write and make one ourselves. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What's his name? He used to do the films which were quite good. Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah.
John, you're doing too much. Go over there.
What all your favourite horrors?
Oh, there's so many of them, Ross.
There is so many.
Stuff.
Final Destination.
Final Destination, yeah. They're proper nasty.
Definitely William.
Right, William. That would be a video nasty, Cole.
Yeah, that'd get banned straight away.
Yeah, that would be like the one that they did in America. What's the American one where all the hillbillies are inbred?
You know what we'd call it? You know what we could call
That's
it?
the one.
I'm going to get banned for doing this. Kill a KFC film. Kill a fucking chav.
Yeah. Why when
I
I
always
hit
watched
words
that.
Skegness, do I get playing me banjos in there?
George
Not just
George
America have got their
Formby
inbred
sang the
lunatics.
Roadside.
We've got them here.
Sorry,
This-
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
That's made me think of George Formby sitting at the edge of Skegness.
What was that?
George
What about-
Formby
What were you doing with your hand?
giving you the wanker sign.
You were going,
No, I was saying
Oh God, no, thank you.
that is so
Zombies.
true, Robert. Go to Glasgow Saturday night, loads of zombies. Yep.
oh, it's all cities, isn't it, Robert?
Hey, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Do a
Right,
movie.
that was a good and wrong turn.
Wrong Turn was a good movie.
Good movie. That was
Do
one
you
that
not-
Ross just spoke about.
Was
Do you
there
not think
other
these
in that?
movies that try and create these characters, and they are characters that have never been created before? For example, Silent Hill. They have these weird characters that have got
Oh,
like
that
heads that
movie.
are, right.
One of
So
favorite
I don't
scenes-
understand what these freaky deaky people are and what they're supposed to be, but they're unique. Do you think movies like that give you more of the scare factor rather than the blood and the gore?
I do.
I prefer
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I prefer the
Game
stuff.
that scared me more than the movie did.
The freaky deaky stuff.
Yep.
I've not seen. Ross has just mentioned one earlier called Art the Clown. I don't know what that
Yeah.
one is. Do you know that one?
No, I don't know how to say.
I don't know that one, but I'm going to
And
look for it now.
Yeah. It's just
You
the
look, have
first,
a look.
but they're making a 3 too. So
So what about It? Talking
Yeah.
of clowns, he's the most favourite clown movie that's out there. There are others that have been made,
Good
like some we've
movies,
never
though.
heard before.
Good movies.
But you know when they keep making these movies and keep like you got part 1, part 2, part 3,
Yeah.
part
No,
4.
wrecks it.
Do you think it gets a bit too much because you're rinsing it then?
Stupid. Get
Yep.
stupid. And that goes for all films, right across any genre, doesn't it? Really. I mean, like I used to love the what do they call the car chase ones? What's it called? Can't name it now.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and
Now they've
Furious.
got 300. Fast and Furious 397, haven't they?
They'll be
Time
in
to put
space
the
soon.
frame down. It's called.
No, they'll be
Do you
in
know what's
space
funny
soon.
enough? That's what Stephen was saying the other night was about, obviously, about amount of films that are just obviously like. I must admit, like even the Saw films kind of grind you a wee bit.
I
And
think
there
the
are-
Saw films were. I did a Saw film binge watch 2 months ago, and I watched all of them one after the other. Just sat in front of the telly and binge watched them. When you watch them one by one by one by one, with not having a break in between, they actually follow on quite well. The way they did it, there's no gap. There's no some years later. There is. It just flows. I thought that was quite clever, the way that was done. The filmmakers need credit for that. But there are films that do come out and they seem to have a big gap or a big chunk missing, and they go on to the next bit. It doesn't really make any sense to me.
I think the films
I
that, like saying the ones that terrify me the most, and not horror. Well, I suppose they are horror films in a way. And you lot love them. I know you lot love them, but I can't really watch them. It's like serial killers.
I love them.
I just can't watch it. I can't watch it.
Oh,
And somebody said to me, "Why not?" I said, "'Cause that's real horror. That's
I tell you-
that's the
I
reality.
tell you what,
you know, it's terrifying."
I love my serial killers, like you know, Dan. But Hannibal Lecter. I'm just going to talk about that. I'm going to put it out there. So they brought out the movies Silence of the Lambs. Fantastic films, all of them.
Yeah, good film.
But they are not a patch on the TV series. And the guy that plays Hannibal Lecter in the TV series, his name is Mads Mikkelsen. He's Hungarian, I believe. He takes the part of Hannibal Lecter. Now, if you can get the actor out of your head, what was his name? Hopkins, that played Hannibal Lecter.
Anthony Hopkins.
If you just get him out of your head and watch the TV series, it is gory. It is a little bit different because it does. It plays on the psychological terror really more than anything, but it has got its gore. but they adapted the film, the books to the film, and then the film to the TV series. The TV series, for me, far outweighs any of the films that were made on Hannibal Lecter.
Really?
So it depends who's making the film or the TV series, I suppose. It depends how they want to portray it and how far they want to push it. But I recommend, if you like your Hannibal Lecter and The Silence of the Lambs, please, please, please go over to Netflix. Go and watch the TV series. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Give it a few episodes in, and I guarantee you'll be hooked. But
I know a lot of people love it. I know a lot of people love it.
Some people,
terrifies the
yeah,
shit out.
some people are really good at doing it. Some filmmakers and producers are really good at it, and some are really shit. But I must admit, on the Hannibal side, they were really good, and I preferred that to the films. You know, that you've got Red Dragon and all of it. They combine the whole lot into the TV series, and it's very cleverly done. So yeah, it's out there, guys. If you're interested in a bit of Hannibal Lecter, watch that. I can't praise it enough. And I think the guy that plays Hannibal with his sharp suits, I mean, we've seen him before in the Heineken adverts, like probably the best lager in the world, you know. But to see him as Hannibal, I thought he was bloody brilliant. I'm sorry, but he was.
I think, like, going back to, like, obviously, like, when we talk about films, I know this strays after you that, but I must admit, I don't like Zac Efron. I don't like any stuff, but my God, he plays a cracking Ted Bundy.
Yes,
Mm.
yes,
And
he does. He looks like him. Oh my God!
And see, like, like Jim Parsons, right? For people who don't know who Jim Parsons is, he plays Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory.
Brilliant actor.
And see, when you think of Sheldon, you think, I can't see this dude doing anything else, but see him playing the prosecutor and Zac Efron's movie, oh my God, he was fucking good.
He's great. He's a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Parsons, absolutely.
Carl's just said, sorry, I'm not skipping comments, I will go back to them, I promise. But Carl's just said, Bundy is one of my favourite serial killers. Who would be your favourite serial killer and why, to each of you?
None of them. No fucker. I'd like to see them all burn.
Yeah.
My favourite serial killer has got to be Dahmer. And the reason he is my favourite, because he doesn't claim to be mental. He doesn't claim to have any psychological disorder. He had a lovely, happy upbringing as a child. He just wanted to do it. He knew it was wrong, and he accepted full responsibility. Yep. The fact that he knew he was wrong makes him my favourite.
And didn't try the old mental thing.
No, I just thought, you gory little sod, you fucking deserve what's coming to you. But that made him my favourite because he knew he was doing wrong. Lois.
Wow, it's a hard one because there's quite a lot of the serial killers that I'm quite fascinated with. But I'm going to pick somebody different, right? And I'm going to pick someone that is not really known to many folk. And it's a guy that was in Canada, and his name is Mark Twitchwell. I think his second name is. And this was a gentleman who, like Jeffrey Dahmer, didn't claim to have mental health. And he actually wrote, it was basically, he wrote all about how he went away and done what he'd done, how it made him feel, how when he would get home and how, because I always often wonder how somebody can switch off and live a double life. Well, this guy, wow, and I mean, wow, how honest he was when he wrote. He carried on, basically, long story short, he carried on, he was a woman, he went on to a dating website, he made up a woman's profile, acted like a lady. Now this guy was manly, man. I mean, wasn't like he didn't have any problems that way. It was just to lure, to see how easy it was to reel men in. And basically, he would taser them, torture them, and it was just his pure honesty, his really honesty, I would say I was quite fascinated, but there's so many serial killers out there that I think, oh my God, hope so no had a good serial killer for you.
Dan,
um,
Dan, and
oh,
Ross, David.
Hey,
definitely.
Ross, the chat.
I've not been around for a while, but I thought of you with a smile. I love you, Chantel. I want to introduce you to Ross. He comes from your country, South Africa. Hey, Ross, say hello to Chantel. Chantel, say hello to Ross. It's all the boss. There you go.
Oh my God. Hi, Chantel.
I
Hey,
think
Danielle.
that we shouldn't have any favourite serial killers. I think they should burn in fucking hell because taking innocent lives, what on earth gives them the right to think they can take innocent lives? And the people that should be remembered are the victims. Fuck the serial killers. They need to burn in hell.
But the problem that you've got now, Dan, is you're getting people making TV series in like lost tapes, right? And then you had everybody last Halloween dressing up as Jeffrey Dahmer. Now you can
Yeah, it's
imagine some
disgusting. They're
people,
glorifying fucking serial killers.
and also soldier
I think people
western
need to
movies.
probably get back and have a flick for the Bible because, to be honest with you, the world at the minute seems to be turned upside down.
In fact,
It's
Ross,
You know who our
arse
serial
first.
killers are today? It's our governments. They're killing people left,
uh,
right, and centre.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
so
The thing is, they're doing it. It's they're doing it in the name of progression.
Yeah.
Ross's comment there about Dexter, that's what this guy that I'm talking about, that's where he got his
Idea from.
inspiration from, was Dexter.
What, Bill's in the house, all right? What, Bill?
Well, Bill, yeah. Hi, I hope you're doing well, Bill. Hope you're doing
Yeehaw.
well, buddy.
What, Bill?
Wow, Bill from the West.
Can't tell you to hear what he said about you, darling.
Oh,
There you go. Well done. Thank you, Sarah. I see a very level-headed woman. If I drown in
If I,
all.
oh, God damn.
Wah, wah, wah.
That would make you a great serial killer.
I don't like these, Cal.
Tony the Tiger. Yeah, there is that. They fucking started wasn't everybody, Sarah. They want us all at each other's throat. While we're doing that, they're pulling strings in the background. And it's not even the government, it's people. I've still stopped now because I've gone down one. Sorry. People do all right. We do all right by ourselves, left alone by governments.
See, look what you've started, Sarah. You've set him off. So what were you saying about the government?
Oh, well, do you know what? Serial killers, they are. Viv's right, absolutely. She's absolutely
Serial
right.
killers are
Absolutely
our
right.
governments because they don't. It's not even just the normal people in the street. They are inciting wars that we fight each other. The latest thing,
Colour against colour, people's sexual proclivities against other people's sexual proclivities, because people are trans.
and now they're
leave
trying
people alone.
They're trying to scare you by trying to fake this alien invasion thing. Vegas is a good example. People were scared. But so anyway, that's will be discussed tomorrow. So tomorrow is another. We'll talk about that
People get on
later.
all right together. When they're left alone, they're fine. Leave people alone. The only people who think to bring race up and that are the instigators.
Exactly.
We shouldn't be fighting with each other. We should be
Inglorious
shoulder with
Bastards.
each other.
I've never actually seen that film. I've heard it's really, really good,
That
but
was
I've never
a good film.
Yeah.
Good film.
And the other thing as well is by watching a film, any person in their right normal mind would not take the film as, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'll try that.
yeah.
It's like giving a
It's
child
escapism.
a gun. Yeah, my kids grew up with toy guns and cap guns and military tanks and God knows what else that they wanted when they were kids. But my kids don't possess guns. I'm not obsessed with guns.
No interest in them.
They have no interest in them whatsoever. And so it's how they're brought up. It's some people are, I suppose some children are more privileged than others because they come from decent homes. There are other children, bless them, poor little things that are shoved into children's homes and know no better, and they're looking at their peers and thinking that that's brilliant, that's the way you should be, and so they follow suit. But as a society, our governments
Oh, do you
have
know
a
what? You're
lot
right.
to
We
go
moan and you're right. We're bitching and we're moaning at each other. And what people don't see is there's children in Africa, India, third world countries, fucking starving and dying of thirst because they can't get clean water.
Yep.
And all we're doing is arguing about first world stupid things.
Mm. What colour the sky? Let's all argue the colour of it. That's how bad it's getting.
The latest.
People,
Oh,
people.
Carl said something here. Carl said something here. He said, we used to love playing with war with our toy guns. It's now frowned upon. Used to scare the bejesus out of my grandparents with them, though. The thing is now, like the newer toys, not the guns. I was in a toy shop and my grandson, who is not even 3, he wanted one and I decided against it. But there was like a remote control hairy spider. They look so lifelike. I mean, it's great for him because he'd be able to play with that and not have a fear of these massive spiders. But his poor mother would. So I decided against buying it because I know that he'd terrorise the cats and things like that. So
Hey,
I didn't get it for that reason, though. But, you know, it's ingenious what they do now. They've stopped making a lot of these replica toy guns because people were using them in actual bank robberies and things like that, which is a shame. They put their bright orange caps on the end now to distinguish that it's a toy. But again, what can you do? It's society, isn't it? It's what our governments, again, if people had enough, they wouldn't want to hold up a building society. But there we go.
No.
Yeah. No matter how much money we send, nothing ever changes. Where is it going? Again, to the governments?
Always the governments.
Yeah, not to the people.
Always the governments. All the problems you can trace back to the governments. And if you go look deep enough and sweep them out the way, it goes back to one pot, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, it's all about love and respect, like what Deborah's just said. If we can't love and respect one another.
Well, it's funny the gun laws here in America are talking about that. I know it's different there because you don't allow them, but even here, it's not the people that own the guns here that's the problem. It's
Bye, Carl.
I'll text you, Carl.
See you, Carl. Take it easy, brother. Sorry, Eric. Go on.
Give up whether the laws for guns or not that are the ones causing the problem. You know, they can get it no matter what. So
it's true because the crime that you can find on the streets normally caused by illegal guns, aren't they? Guns that have not been bought from shops. They've been
all legal guns.
Yeah.
That one person that was teased in high school that finally turns 18 and decides, hey, I can get a gun. You know.
Do you know? And this is not a word of a lie.
Yeah, it's right. Absolutely right.
Guns are illegal in the UK. I can go out tomorrow and I could buy a gun illegally.
Yeah.
And ammunition for it. It doesn't make any difference, but it's the reason for having the gun before, you know, the right to bear arms in your constitutional law. What does that actually mean? What did your forefathers actually mean by it? How do you know that they meant that? Yep. You know, it's down to individuals' interpretations. And then when you get people that really struggle and have to take drugs, they don't take drugs because they're addicted to drugs. They start the drugs in the first time to block out what's going on in their lives.
Yeah, it's society.
It's society. It's a society thing. And having
it's
the
drug,
then messes with the minds. I'm watching and I'm following a case, and I said to you about it, Eric, before, about a lady in Wisconsin that is being, she's in court now. The court case has started where she chopped up her partner, both of them high on ice or whatever it was they were taking. Not only did she kill him, she chopped his body up. And and if you look at this woman, she is stunning. She is beautiful. She's got a lot going for her. What the hell was she thinking? Again, it's the drug thing. I don't think she would have done it in her normal state of mind. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist.
No.
I wouldn't have thought so from what I'm seeing of her. But again, it's like what messes with the mind? Are we putting? It's not even the drugs. It's what we're watching, what we're seeing, what we're doing, who we're hanging around with, our government, how they're treating us. What's our way of life like? There are a lot of factors that goes on in this. And watching a horror film definitely does not mess your mind up. You've got the problems there to start with if by watching a horror film.
Your problems come from a lot of it comes from socio-economic backgrounds. So a lot of poor kids that grow up with nothing, what are they meant to do? They've got no chance in life. So what are they meant to do? They will go and take crime up. You know, and initially it will start with small things and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they end up in an empire. And that's the thing. It's nothing to do with the people. It's to do with the bloody socio-economic conditions they're brought up in.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like guns, and I wouldn't go near one. I've got no need.
I'd have a gun.
I don't ever want one. No interest.
I'd have a little spud gun and shoot down with it.
Oh, that's fair enough. But no interest. But I used to belong to a camping group, and it will show you how easy I get here. And there's an old boy who's got, we'll call him Bert to start with. He's getting on. He was probably in his 80s. He'd go camping. And because we used to go out into the middle of it was a great big woods, but it was a privately owned woods. So you get away with doing anything there. And he turned up one day, and he had a fucking Magnum. And I said to him, I didn't know you had a gun license. He said, I haven't got a gun license. I bought it off a mate of mine and sold it. And it was firing it off in the woods merrily, and you're thinking, and he said to me, do you want to go? And no, I don't want to go. But it's like, this is how easy they are to get a hold of. So it's the illegal ones that are on the street. And, you know, you're not going to go and buy a gun and they'll kill somebody with it, because you can have they'll trace it back to you, won't they? So you can get them hold illegally. That's what it is. And I do think personally, I mean, people do deserve a right to protect themselves, but isn't that what the law's meant to be there for? And unfortunately, the law aren't doing their job now.
And they're corrupt. They're corrupt a lot of the time.
Look how many of them we've had over here in the last couple of years that have been sex offenders.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So would I, Sarah.
Yeah, exactly. I would too. I would try and get in the way. So the security man at the front of the shop had to get past me to get here. I'd play dumb. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Just be in the way. So he gets a chance to go.
Yeah, people got to eat. If people need to eat, they need to eat. It's like, you know, I haven't got a problem with them doing things like that.
What about if they were stealing alcohol, though? If they were stealing alcohol, homeless man in there stealing alcohol, would you help him still?
No.
Why not?
Because you're feeding that addiction.
Don't stay that way by drinking alcohol when he could be, you know, sobering up and doing something, or at least getting help for it, you know.
Maybe they are drinking to block it out. You don't know the situation.
Unless you give me that alcohol, I'm fucking telling. No, of course. Would I help him? No, I wouldn't help him. But I wouldn't I don't like tattletale on, unless it is like a murder or something like that, or a sex offence or whatever. I would never tell the police anything.
Oh, you lying bastard! See, if it was about me, you would shove me right in there.
I'd blast you up at the drop of a hat.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Robert. They're the biggest lying bastards that ever walked the face of God's green grass.
I've ever heard say the truth is Ronald Reagan is our president. I can't remember what president he was, but he said on a talk show, he goes, you know what the problem is? He goes, the problem is the government.
Do you know what he turned around and said? And it was one of my favourite quotes of anybody ever. The most frightening, this is Ronald Reagan, the most frightening words you can hear, he went, as a member of the public is, hi, we're from the government and we're here to help you.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing quote. Some of the people knocked him. I was a fucking very clever man.
I think Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher had a thing going on together, because they used to hold hands quite a lot.
Oh, very close, weren't they? Very close.
He shagged her.
No.
It's something that I want to.
You're talking about a Hollywood icon. He was a Hollywood icon. He was a really good-looking chap when he was younger.
And she was the Iron Lady. She might have been
Iron, exactly. I want to go near her. Iron
Can you imagine it? Their babies. Sorry.
Well, it'd be half handsome and half fucking metal, wouldn't it?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. But yeah, I was a very, very clever man. Despite they used to take the piss out of him, he was very, very clued up. They do, yeah. But let's not confuse that with the fact that they're trying to see, some people are trying to push a thing where, oh, this is gay people, oh, this is that. It's nothing to do with the fucking gay, whatever community. Nothing to do with them. There's somebody behind all this shit with a bigger agenda. That's what I'm saying. Look beyond
Yeah.
that. Look behind
Aye,
that.
okay,
They use
Donald.
people as scapegoats. Look behind it.
Rab's
We're
new
going to
nickname
go.
is Donald. We'll call him Donald from now on. Donald, where's your cruisers?
Exactly.
A lot of crimes are done out of desperation to survive. Opportunistic crime, steal a
Yeah, I
jumper off
agree
the
with
line
that.
because you're cold, almost forgivable. But steal a cell phone because it's nice. No, sir. There's a difference. The system that judges these crimes is broken and backwards. The problem, that's the problem.
I
It's
agree
the
with you.
people in power that are
I
the
do
puppet
think
masters.
that
Yeah.
the problem with people like junkies and stuff, A, there doesn't seem to be enough help out there for people with drug problems, and B, they need to fucking target who's bringing the drugs into the country. You stop it at the source, and then hopefully you can cure a lot of the problems.
Legalise cannabis over here. Get rid of the
Exactly,
dirty drugs
Sarah.
so they can have the other stuff.
Exactly, Sarah.
My cousin went to eat. It's nothing like that, though. Didn't last. He went to Harrow Boys.
I thought that was posh eating.
Exactly, Sarah. And exactly. But they would like to try and give you the idea that it's because it's an agenda that needs to be pushed. They need to get each other against each other. Everybody's at each other's throats.
I wonder if they made a horror film about people in government and used people as actors as the Prime Minister and whatever.
Could you imagine?
They did.
Would that
They
be
did for a
banned
while
straight
ago.
away?
Horror.
Would
That'd
it
be a
be
horror.
banned? Would the governments get involved and say, right, now we're banning this film, we don't want you to know
But
that?
it's like the whole thing we've got going over here in a minute, isn't it? With Johnson and stuff. And they said, oh, we banned it in Parliament, we've done this, we've done that. Fine, okay, yeah, fine, fair enough. But what fucks me off is the people that are judging him are the people that were in the same boat with him.
Yes. Let's start a simply spooky revolution party.
We need one. We need a global revolution where the people take over.
So
Ordinary,
Lois,
normal people.
Lois will stand in Parliament in the Scottish Parliament. We'll have
Hey,
Dan as
There's
I'm
how
doing a
many
lot.
have gone?
I'm doing a lot better than fucking Sturgeon and Hingway's
Yeah. She's not doing well at all, is she?
Well,
and then
she's a fun.
I'll be a representative of the Welsh party, Free the Sheep.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Get rid of the bastards.
Do you know they have a very naughty name for that?
There's a community now called Gays Against Groomers, and they try to ban them. Funny enough, the governments.
They need to
Weird,
go
isn't
to
it?
bottom
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly, Sarah. It's exactly what they're doing. And the sooner people
you're
open
right,
their eyes
Robert.
to this
I mean, that's
global
awful.
problem, it's the same with black people and white people. Nobody cares anymore.
No.
Nobody cares. And if they do care, then they're fucking idiots.
The thing is, like with me, like being mixed race, a lot of people don't realise where I'm from. And I hear the racism come from both sides. And when I hear it from the Indian side, I understood what you just said, and that's not right. You can't speak to people like that. What? They're shocked. And then on the English side, and I've heard that, and I think you can't really do that, and they go, what? And they don't realise that, and it's quite funny in a way because they look at me like, well, where are you from then? That racism does still exist, not to the extreme over here, like people think, not like America or any other, the other places. It does still exist in pockets, and some places are worse than others.
You're always going to have idiots, though, aren't you?
Yeah, you're always going to get an idiot that starts and riles people up.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, people are people. Just it's one race, isn't it?
Debs, you haven't seen him at his worst. Seriously.
Thanks, Deborah.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen live on air. It goes quiet behind the scenes, and I've seen him at his worst. Honestly, it's terrible. He nearly killed me once, but that's another story.
I've got a stupid sense of humour because I grew up with things like watching the Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, watching
that's me and you, isn't it? Abbott and Costello.
It is, yeah. The three.
Who's on first?
All that stuff. Oh, the Marx Brothers. All that stuff. I grew up with all that stuff, so yeah, I love all that.
Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to boost off. But it's been lovely to see you.
I'm rooting for Celtic. Come on, Celtic.
I hate the fucking Rangers Celtic whole shite.
Do you know what? I'm Catholic, Irish Catholic, and do you know what? I couldn't give a fuck if you're Celtic or Rangers. I've got mates that are Rangers. Who cares? Who cares?
Exactly,
I
Dan.
like the
Exactly.
colour green.
People are people,
Green
aren't
is
they?
the colour. Green.
It's like a girl
It's
said to
full
me.
of green.
A girl said to me the weekend, "I'm mixed race." I went, "We're all fucking mixed race.
Yeah.
Much
We're all
love to
mixed
you,
race."
guys.
Just,
Night, Lois. Love
who's that?
you.
Night, love you all.
Bye,
Bye.
See
Lo.
you soon.
Love you, Lo. Yeah, we're all mixed race. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
But a funny thing happened to me last winter. Now here it's different. We're not used to whites, blacks, Hispanics being all together. There's this black family that lives down the street from us, and I stopped because it looked like his truck was stuck in the snow. And I go, "Do you need help?" I thought he thought for a second there that I was going to be racist towards him, but he changed his attitude. As soon as I had, "Are you stuck? Do you need help?"
Yeah.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
yeah. And it's nice that you want to help them, you know. It's
Well,
nice
yeah,
that
yeah.
you're being neighbourly. Just treat them like anybody else.
I don't know what the
Same as me.
schooling system's like in the States, but over here, I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, we're only a little country compared to a tiny little island, aren't we, really? And America's such a massive, vast continent. But over here, when I was growing up, and Viv's the same, you know, roughly the same age, we all went to school together. We all black, whites, Turks, Greeks,
Yeah.
Italians,
But
French
from the
people.
beginning,
Nobody, but we all grew up. There was never a colour, never a
No.
religion mentioned, never a race. It was just like, oh, that's Mehmet, or that's whoever, you know, it was your mate,
Yeah.
or that was the kid you didn't like, but you didn't like him because he was black or Turk. You didn't like him because you didn't like him.
well, see, it's different for me only. I don't know if it's the same because we live in Wisconsin. I didn't see another person of color, even Hispanic, until I was in high school. So, but I
Oh
was
wow!
respect people. So,
Yeah,
You know
people,
what?
people,
We've
people,
all
people.
got this inbuilt thing. We're not made to like everybody. We're not made to like everything, which is fine. But there's a thing that people forget, and that's having respect for one another.
Yeah,
Like, I don't have to like Dan's shirt that he's wearing. I can think it's grotesque. He might love it. I won't tell him that I hate it. I will just say to him, "You look good in it, Dan. That's nice." I just won't
you
be
know
seen
what?
with him in it.
It's like-
You know. But you get.
But I
get
know
the gist.
Viv so well now that as Telltale looks on little telltale tells on her face, and I know she hates this shirt.
yeah.
No, but it's having respect for one another. You know, it's Dan might look at me and think, "What the fucking brush your hair today? I'm not going out with you looking like that."
cares?
Do you know what I
really?
mean? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He'll respectfully say to me, "Viv, do me a favour. Go and get a hairbrush before we leave." "Oh, do you think I need to brush my hair?" You know, again, it's doing it in a respectful way, and it's again with strangers. You know, who says hello to strangers anymore? I know I still
I
do.
do.
And
Me and you
they
do,
look at
don't we?
me like round here, they love it, but in London, they'll be checking their pockets to see if I've
Oh,
nicked something
terrible in
from
London.
them.
Terrible in London.
But you know, it's
Terrible,
infectious.
terrible.
You give them a smile. You smile at them,
Well,
they smile back, and then other people start smiling because these people are smiling, and you think the world's gone mad because people are smiling, but it's nice. You know, people don't do that anymore, and it's a shame that we're losing these last little respectful things,
do you
like
know
holding
what,
a
Viv?
door open for a woman. You know,
It's
doesn't
like
matter what colour she
people-
is.
Exactly. It's like people are forgetting that we're all the same species.
Well,
I know.
I'm leaving the door open. Actually, this happened to me. It was funny that I said this because this lady held the door open for this guy. He just walks out, doesn't even say thank you. And then she looks around like, what the heck? And at least you could have said thank you. I said,
Yeah,
instead of her saying anything, I'm like, exactly right. You should have said thank you.
yeah.
Do you know what? A girl did that to me once. I opened the door for her and she just bolted in. Then I stepped out of the way and she bolted past me. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I could argue, but my dad used to say, let it be their problem, don't make it yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever she says something, I wish she would get in an accident. That's their problem, not yours. You worry about you.
Exactly.
Do you know,
exactly.
I was over in California, and I ended up in a place that I shouldn't have been in, and I ended up talking
Yeah,
to
California.
these young guys on a corner. I was in downtown California in the rough part. Say rough, it didn't look rough to me, but it was apparently the rough part. And I was talking to these young guys, just having a chat with them. Nice lads. Found out afterwards I was speaking to, and there was about 12 of them and one of me. Turns out they were part of one of the notorious gangs, the Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely guys. Had a laugh with them. They even hailed a taxi and got the taxi to go through a drive-through for me.
Mm.
How they did it, I don't know. I'm not going to ask any questions. They were lovely to me. I was lovely to them. I remember them all these years later. And it was part of my holiday that I will always hold dear to my heart because these guys were funny. I had a laugh with them. They were brilliant. Somebody turned around and said to me, "You were lucky."
Yep.
No, it was because I showed respect.
Yeah.
They showed me respect. And we had an amazing time. We did have a laugh and a joke. It was something that will always stick out in my head. I never felt in danger. That actually made me feel quite welcome. I asked them what they were doing. They were asking questions to me. I was answering them honestly. We were having a laugh and a joke. And it was fantastic. Now, why would somebody say I was lucky? No, I treated them with respect. They treated me with respect.
Yeah, and
that's the way it should go. And they
Because at the
saw
end of
that.
the day, underneath it all, people are people, aren't they?
But apparently they're this notorious gang, and I'm lucky they didn't rape, kill me, or mug me, or whatever. That wasn't going to happen at all. I had nothing on me to they weren't interested. They just wanted to know who I was, what I was doing there, and how long I was staying, and where I was going. And I told them quite honestly, I said, I'm looking for a McDonald's. I went to a Burger King instead, but just as good. But anyway, yeah, it was a fun time. And again, it just shows you, not just in paranormal, but in life, respect gets you a lot of things and more rewards than anything,
People are people.
I know. And coming to people and people, Dan, it's coming up to 8:30, so we're going to have to wrap this up.
Have you got your pot of doom there, Viv?
I have the jar of doom.
Eric, choose one.
Me? All right.
Get young Eric in there.
Young Eric, you've got to tell me when to stop. Hang on, let me get my fingers in.
Said the actress to the bishop.
Okay, stop.
Right, I have a whole bunch here, so you're going to have to pick a number.
Oh, boy.
This is the bunch. I'm going to lay them down in front of me. You can see if you like. Hang on. Ready?
Dun, 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 dun.
1. Can you see that? Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5 or number 6. They're all laying there in a line. Can you see?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll do 6.
Right, the rest are going back in the pot. I'm just going to open number 6. Hang on, bear with me, guys.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Ghostly girlfriends.
Next week.
Ghostly girlfriends?
Girlfriends. What's that? Partners?
It's all boyfriends. So, ghostly girlfriends, partners, or boyfriends.
Somebody's got a dirty mind.
So this is what we're going to be discussing.
Right.
So what's that? What, like people that think they've got girlfriends and boyfriends as ghosts?
Yeah.
It's okay. That's a good subject because what we were talking about a while ago. So
Yeah.
Or we could be talking about things like the entity. That's a sort of a boyfriend, but he was a bit of a nasty one. He was
Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose it would fit in this category. So this is next week's subject: ghostly girlfriends, partners, or boyfriends.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look up a few for that. I've not done much in the way of looking at. I mean, obviously bits and bobs come up, but it's interesting to look into it.
You've got a ghostly boyfriend, though, Dan.
I had one. I think once kept pinching me arm.
Yeah, they followed you to a few places and
He
touched
pissed
your
me
bum.
off though because he stopped doing it.
I've tried to get one. I haven't been lucky yet.
I remember when it happened, the first time it happened to me, I was with a gay guy, and he said he's always a soldier, and he went to pinch people's asses. He's gay, the spirit. He says so. Anyway, I bent over and pinched my ass. He just pinched my ass. He went, "Oh, you lucky bastard."
Hang on. So tomorrow there is a show tomorrow night. Normally Dan and I would be doing a show. Dan doesn't know any of this, so he's going to have words with me after. we do a show on a Wednesday night, me and Dan, but tomorrow night we are taking a back seat. We will step in. We had a new show that started on Monday, but because one of the show hosts couldn't make it, they're going to be taking our slot on Wednesday just for this week only to get their first show done. So me and Dan will be there to assist them. And then they will be on the Simply Spooky Network every Monday from about 9 o'clock. And I will be introducing to you the Dark Mirror Show. So the boys have come over to the dark side on the Simply Spooky Network.
We're on it every week, aren't we?
Jeremy, if you're listening, they will come over. So that's going to be a treat tomorrow night for Wednesday. Thursday, To the Grave and Back with Lois and the gang will be on Simply Spooky. Friday Night Frighteners, I believe, is going ahead as normal with Bri and Ian and Nick and the gang, and of course Lois. And Mondays, first and third Saturday of the month, we have Paranormal Insights with William Becker. Is it the third Monday? It's the third Monday, the third Saturday of the week, the month, isn't it, Dan?
Yes, the third, I think. Yeah.
So Dan will be, William will be back on Saturday night. The Dark Mirror Boys on Monday night, and then us again on Tuesdays and on Things Network, and on Wednesdays on Simply Spooky. So I hope you can join one of the shows. They're very good.
Sorry, Viv. Deborah's asked what time.
Tomorrow is from 9 o'clock tomorrow. They might come on a little bit earlier. I will try, but
who's hosting tomorrow night? Is our show going ahead tomorrow night, but with somebody else doing it?
They're doing it.
Who's doing it?
Mark and Wayne.
Whoa! Hey,
we got another
couple of lads. You don't know if you know Mark and Wayne, but they're a good couple of lads. And they've asked us to be continually on their show, haven't they? So yeah,
we'll pop in, Dan. We'll pop in and see what they're doing.
Oh God, yeah. Got to pop into the piss. No, they're good lads. They're really good lads. So yeah, you'll enjoy them.
So we'll be back. We're back. Me and you are back proper next Tuesday on Things Network. I must say about Things Network, there are some great shows on there. So please check the other shows. Watch them on catch up if you miss them. We don't mind. You can also catch us on YouTube as well. So if you miss any of the shows, it doesn't matter. You can catch up as and when you want at your leisure. We don't mind, honestly. Dan, you got anything left to say to the viewers before we go?
No, just good night. God bless. Speak to you all next week, or speak to you and I'll speak to you next. And look after yourselves. Make sure you're all safe. Be good to one another. And yeah, lots of love.
Eric,
basically the same.
There you go, Eric.
Be safe.
There you go.